what can the Mavericks do to jumpstart Spencer Dinwiddie? Because whether it's tomorrow or whether it's going forward, you need him to contribute more.
I don't know. This is probably the guy that Washington was like, we gave him $18 million. And right now, I don't know. Obviously, I didn't see this coming from Jalen Brunson. Nobody did. I mean, he's never done this in his career, and this is freaking amazing what he's doing. So it's not like you need, to your point, I think what you're saying is we might not need Dinwiddie tomorrow or need Dinwiddie to win game 7 and move on.
Yeah.
But you would think if you're going to cause major problems for it looks like Phoenix in the next round and possibly upset them, then Dinwiddie needs to get back to that 15 to 20 point per night guy that he was as the regular season was coming to a close. He has been a somewhat bad 3-point shooter. When he came to the Mavs, he was a bad 3-point shooter and then became an above average 3-point shooter all of a sudden with the Dallas Mavericks. And is he regressing to the mean? When you're hotter than your average, do you then get colder than your average to then get it back to a 32% 3-point shooter, which is what he usually is? I think I don't have his numbers pulled up, but I don't know, because he's just not getting to the basket the way he used to. He did have a stretch there in the game 3 where he had a nice end to game 3. Overall, his numbers weren't great in game 3 as his efficiency wasn't there, but you knew that he made some big baskets for you. I don't know, Kevin. I think it's a great question. I thought game 5 would be it. You're at home.
Yeah, me too.
Luka is coming into his second game, so you get a little bit more rhythm of playing with Luka, and his rhythm playing with Luka has been tremendous since being traded. So it can click. I hope it clicks in game 6, but I thought it was going to click in game 5.
And Mike, I think that you hit the nail on the head, whether you realize it or not, when you talked about him not getting to the rim. He is a role player. Like, he's not supposed to be a star, and he's a very good role player, but his role is getting to the rim. And this is where we get to role players and matchups making fights in the playoffs. This is a matchup where they've got bigs in the post all of the time. Mm-hmm. And you have 3 guards on this team that do various things. Luka does all of it. But Brunson is a guy who can work in the mid-range. Spencer Dinwiddie isn't as good at that. And we've seen him, like, he had opportunities in the mid-range, putting up floaters and jumpers in the middle, and he's had trouble knocking those down. In fact, sometimes coming off the back of the iron really strong or missing the ring entirely. But that's a guy who he wants to get all the way to the rim and lay it up, except now you're facing a matchup that really prohibits that. So I think that takes away the spark plug for him, the thing that gets his game going in particular. A different matchup might present differently for him, but I think this might just be one of those matchups where it's tough for him to get involved in what's happening.
I love what Reggie's saying right there, because that's what I think is dead on too. There's some disruption around the paint for him. Scal told us the other day, hey guys, when Luka's not on the court, if I'm on the court, now I have to be asked to do certain things that I'm not good at. And that's going to, it's going to take me a minute to get that going. I think one other thing is, and I think this goes very unnoticed. Is there a stat for the guy that made the pass before the pass?
No, they don't do assists like hockey assists or soccer assists sometimes.
And so sometimes, like, there was a really good pass from Luka that went around to Brunson, and there were like 2 guys to get to the Brunson pass, and Luka doesn't get that assist. Although Luka set up that assist essentially by being Luka, and Dinwiddie can sometimes be the guy in between. Sometimes he can be the guy that starts that too. But his game definitely is depicted off of going to the basket and being that aggressive goer. Now, if I'm Jason Kidd and I'm like, hey, I want to close this series out tonight, and I see that he doesn't make on Thursday, and I see that he doesn't make his first couple of threes, maybe I'm saying, look, this next series, maybe we'll have something presented to you that's not as rough. You have a better matchup there. Again, we talked about the series being a series, not a game, right? We'll talk about the playoffs being the playoffs, not just one series. So he can have opportunities to do that. But you want him to catch fire so that he has the confidence that he can hit those threes whenever Luka gives him that opportunity, because you don't want Luka to not trust him, and you don't want him not to trust himself. The other thing too is, whenever it became the Jalen and Dinwiddie show, he got 20, right? He would put in 20 and 17, but Jalen was the guy, and maybe Jalen was like, I still have to do all this work myself.
21 shots, 21 shots, 20 points, 18 shots, 17 points. So he got those, Corey, but that's really bad.
Well, yeah, because I don't know that anybody else was going to be able to get those, though, right? Like, was that the idea that somebody else on the team is going to be taking those shots because they weren't going anywhere else? So you had to get those points somewhere.
I would say almost every NBA player can average a point per shot. Does that make sense? If I give Dorian Finney-Smith 21 shots, I bet he scores 20 points.
How many people, I hear what you're saying. How many people do the Mavs have that would feel comfortable stepping into that role? Because I think you're probably right about the outcome.
Jalen.
Sure.
Trey Burke would. I still,
you're probably right about that.
And obviously, if healthy, Tim Hardaway's I'll take 50 shots.
Yeah. I'll shoot the ball. Hell, I'll shoot it every time. Yeah.
But, I'm looking at this. Right. In April, Dinwiddie was 50% from the field, 50% from 3-point. Now, he wasn't. I didn't know this. In those games, the Mavericks did go 4-1. He's only playing 20 minutes a game and was averaging 10.8 points per game and 3 assists per game. Now, March was outstanding when he played 31 minutes for the Mavs and averaged 18 points and 4.4 assists on 46.8% shooting and 37.3. And really what we're hoping for, right, is March Dinwiddie.
Yes, because you get that volume at an efficient level.
Should we be more the way April went? Now, they had most of the games were blowouts, whether they got blown out by Washington or they blew out San Antonio, Portland, Detroit. And they had a great game against Milwaukee where he played 21 minutes, had 11 points and 4 assists on 3 of 6 shooting. Did March screw us up with what Dinwiddie is on this team?
I don't know, because I don't know if I think it works with him contributing at that level. If he's putting in
20 minutes at 10 points.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't know how much it works, at least for right now, for this playoffs against your Suns, your Warriors, your whoever. I just don't know. Clearly they've shown they can win games. I'm saying, but can you win a series if that's the level that he's at? Because I would like to know more about where the rest of those points are coming.
I'm shocked, though, Corey, when I looked at these stats. I just had no clue that April, only 5 games, that he was 10.8 points. And he shot fine. 50%. No, I shouldn't say fine. He shot great overall. That maybe... I'm just maybe we're expecting too much from Dinwiddie when I start diving more into game logs and what he averaged. I don't know.
I think the one thing that you're not going to get is effort out of him. I don't think that's a dude that's ever going to show up and not give what's asked of him and a little bit more. He's one of those fighters on this team too, and I think that's there. He's just in a little bit of that wasn't exactly what we were hoping and expecting for, but I think he's going to go out there and push everything. To your question, though, I don't know what jump starts him. If it is just go to the basket and do your thing, if that's the case, like Reggie said, that's going to be difficult with a couple guys there that are really good at defending the rim. So he's got to figure out another way. And if he doesn't have a mid-range like Brunson, like Luka, I don't know, put him on the block. See if he can get a small defender on him and see if he can get some points that way.
I don't know if he can post up. I think you're asking something, but I don't know if he's ever done that in his life, posted up. Does that make sense? Because he's usually taking guys off the dribble. So if you say, hey, go post up, he's little. But what if I don't know how to hold the guy on position?
I'd be fascinated because you can't scout for that either.
Dirk didn't know how to post up his first 4 years in the league for the most part, right?
As a one-off, I would be oddly fascinated by that because they're like, what the hell are they doing?
And again, I'm just trying to find matchups that help there too. So what's the matchup against Utah that works against? What's the matchup against Phoenix that might work against? If he's not truly comfortable with it, but you got to get him some plays that he can get confidence in.